She was a bright, happy little girl. He was the gentle, soft-spoken tutor her parents trusted completely. But behind closed doors, he gave her a special lollipop and told her never to tell. The day she finally spoke out, the truth shattered her family's world. What did this innocent child reveal that made even grown men cry? And how did her small voice bring a predator to his knees? Stay with us to hear the full story. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so more people can hear the truth and protect their children. "Mummy," Lily said with a curious smile, "why does your lollipop taste like strawberry? But my lesson teacher's own always tastes salty." Her mother, Grace, paused mid-stir. The kitchen suddenly felt too quiet, too heavy. "What did you say?" Lily repeated it innocently, swinging her legs under the chair like she had just asked about cartoons. Grace's heart thumped. "Lollipop? What lollipop, Lily?" "The one Mr. James gives me. He says it's a special lollipop, but it doesn't taste like yours. His is always salty, and he says I must never tell anybody. If I do, he said something very bad will happen." The spoon fell from Grace's hand. Something cold passed through her body. Her mind raced. James, their home lesson teacher? The young man she and her husband hired to help Lily with her studies? "Where does he give you this lollipop?" she asked slowly, afraid of the answer. Lily pointed toward her mouth. "There," she said innocently. "He says I should just suck it and not bite it." Grace screamed. Lily was 7 years old, bright-eyed and always singing. She loved to dance and scribble cartoons on her notebooks. But for some reason, school was hard for her, especially math. "She's struggling," her teacher had told Grace and her husband Daniel. "She's smart but distracted, a little behind in reading and arithmetic." The couple felt guilty. They were busy people. Grace worked in a hospital as a midwife. Daniel owned a building materials store. They left home early, returned late. There was little time to help Lily with homework. "We need a lesson teacher," Daniel said one night. "Someone who can guide her after school. Someone to watch her when we're not home." They asked around. A neighbor recommended a young man named James. "He's a university graduate," the woman had said. "Very good with children. Quiet and respectful." James arrived the next evening. He wore glasses, smiled gently, and spoke softly. Lily didn't say much when they introduced him, but nodded shyly. "He'll be coming Mondays to Fridays," Grace told her daughter. "When you get home from school, he'll help you with your books, okay?" Lily nodded again. She didn't understand much. She just knew someone new was coming to spend time with her when Mommy and Daddy weren't around. At first, everything seemed normal. Mr. James was patient. He explained things carefully. He helped Lily write neatly, count in 2s and 5s. He even brought sweets sometimes. "Good girl," he'd say, patting her back. "If you keep doing well, I'll give you a special lollipop, one that only my special students get." Lily giggled. "Yay! Just remember," he'd whisper, "it's our little secret. You can't tell Mommy and Daddy, okay?" Lily frowned. "Why?" He smiled. "Because they'll be jealous. They don't have this kind of lollipop. Only you do." And that was how the game began. A game Lily didn't understand. A game she thought was part of being a good girl. But something didn't feel right. Something about the way Mr. James stared too long. The way he locked the door. The way he touched her hair, her back, her face. Still, she said nothing, because Mr. James said if she ever told anyone, bad things would happen. Lily began to change. She was no longer her cheerful self. Her drawings turned from flowers and butterflies to strange, scribbled shapes. Her giggles faded. She became quieter, withdrawn, and easily startled. At school, her teacher, Miss Rose, noticed she flinched when someone touched her shoulder. "Are you okay, Lily?" Miss Rose asked gently one afternoon. Lily nodded quickly, but her eyes darted to the window. "Yes, Ma." But her voice trembled. At night, Lily began wetting the bed. She had stopped doing that years ago. She would cry softly in her sleep, whispering things like, Don't tell anyone. And I'm sorry. I was good. Grace thought she was stressed. Maybe the schoolwork is too much, she told Daniel. Maybe we should give her a break. But Daniel shook his head. No, she needs this. It's helping. James says she's improving. Yes, James said Lily was improving. And they believed him. One day, Mr. James arrived earlier than usual. Lily had barely dropped her school bag when she heard the front door open. Hello, Star Girl, he called from the sitting room. She froze. He came into the hallway smiling. He always smiled. That smile made her stomach twist. Ready for your reward today? Lily hesitated. I didn't finish all my homework. He knelt in front of her and touched her cheek. That's okay, you've still been good. Come, let's go play the lollipop game, just like before. She followed him into the study room, a small spare room they used for lessons. He locked the door. That day, he didn't bring sweets. Instead, he sat close, whispered things that made Lily uncomfortable. He touched her in ways that confused and scared her. He told her to do something that made her feel like she was choking. He called it the special lollipop. She wanted to run, but he was big. He said if she told anyone, her parents would stop loving her, that they would send her away. You're a bad girl now, he whispered, but only I can keep your secret. If you tell anyone, the consequences will be too much for you to bear. She cried quietly as he left. 2 weeks later, Lily sat at the kitchen table, licking a real strawberry lollipop her mother had bought her. Mummy, she said, frowning thoughtfully, why does your lollipop taste like strawberry? Grace smiled, rinsing dishes in the sink. Because it is strawberry. But, Lily looked up, Mr. James's own doesn't taste like this. His is salty. He gives me the special kind. Grace's hand stopped moving. She turned slowly. What did you say? I said Mr. James's lollipop tastes salty, but yours is sweet. Why are they different? Grace's blood ran cold. Her mouth opened, but no words came. She crouched beside her daughter. Lily, baby, what do you mean? What kind of lollipop does he give you? Lily blinked. The one he says I should suck. He says it's only for good girls, but he said I must never ever tell anybody or something bad will happen to me. Grace felt the floor spin beneath her. Her hands began to shake. She stared at her daughter's innocent face, and deep inside she knew something horrible had happened. Something no child should ever experience. Grace could barely breathe. Her eyes filled with tears as Lily continued speaking, still unaware of the weight her innocent words carried. He told me not to tell anyone, Lily said again, licking the strawberry lollipop. But I didn't know yours would taste different. Grace dropped the dishcloth and pulled her daughter into her arms, holding her tightly. Her heart thundered. Her mouth was dry. A scream built inside her chest, but she swallowed it down. Baby, she whispered, can you tell me everything Mr. James asked you to do? Lily hesitated. But I promised. Grace cupped her daughter's face. I'm your mummy. Nothing will happen to you. I promise. You didn't do anything wrong. That moment changed everything. As Lily began to describe the terrible things Mr. James had done, the games, the touching, the special lollipop, Grace broke down. Silent sobs racked her body. She tried to stay strong, but each word her daughter spoke shattered her into 1,000 pieces. When Daniel returned home from the shop, Grace met him at the door. Her face was pale. Her hands trembled. What happened? He asked. Come inside, she said. Her voice was calm, too calm. She sat him down and told him everything, word for word. At first, Daniel didn't understand. Then he did. The glass cup in his hand dropped and shattered. Where is he? He growled. Where is he? He's not coming today, Grace said. I told him Lily had a headache. Daniel was shaking with rage. He touched my daughter? He did. That to my Lily? He stood up. I'll kill him. No, Daniel, Grace said, grabbing his shirt. We can't lose control now. We need to protect her. We need to get help. Real help. It took all her strength to hold him back. But deep down, Grace knew justice was coming. The next morning, Grace took Lily to the hospital. She asked to see a female doctor. Quietly, she explained the situation. The doctor's face changed. She became serious. Lily was examined gently. They called in a child psychologist and a social worker. "She's been abused," the doctor confirmed in a quiet voice. "You did the right thing by bringing her in immediately. It's going to take time, but with love and professional support, she can heal." Daniel filed a report with the police that same day. They contacted a child protection unit. Officers listened carefully to the parents, then asked to speak with Lily in a child-safe interview room. "She's just a little girl," the officer said softly after hearing her story. "But she's very brave. This is going to take a team." That evening, the home of Mr. James was visited by the police. When they arrived at his house, they found his room half empty. His clothes were gone. His small bag was missing. His phone was switched off. The neighbors said they hadn't seen him since the previous afternoon. "It looks like he ran," one of the officers said. "Coward," Daniel spat. He knew he found out. The police began an active search. His picture was shared across local stations and online groups. Parents in the community were warned to stay alert. Teachers were told to watch their pupils closely. Everyone was angry. How could a man do this to a little girl? Who else did he hurt? Didn't we trust him too much? Daniel wanted to tear the world apart looking for him. But Grace reminded him of what truly mattered. "Our daughter needs us," she said. "Don't let his evil pull you away from her." And so, while the police chased the predator, the family focused on Lily. At first, Lily didn't speak much. She would sit silently, holding her teddy bear. Sometimes she stared at the wall for minutes. Sometimes she cried in her sleep. Sometimes she would flinch when someone called her name. But then, one day during therapy, the counselor asked, "Lily, what do you want to do when you grow up?" Lily looked up. "I want to help children," she said quietly. That was the first time she smiled since it all happened. At home, Daniel and Grace worked hard to show her love and patience. They no longer left her alone. Her cousins came to visit often. At school, her teachers were informed privately, and they became gentle guides for her. Bit by bit, Lily started drawing again. Bit by bit, she laughed again. One afternoon, the police returned to Mr. Daniel's house. They had found something important. They discovered Mr. James's old phone number had been registered to another school years ago, and a few children there had once complained of weird lessons, but their complaints were ignored. Multiple complaints, same story. But no one investigated properly. The officer explained. "This man has been moving from place to place, hurting children, silently, carefully. He always makes sure the parents trust him. Then he strikes." Daniel's fists tightened. Grace cried. "How many children?" she asked, her voice shaking. "We're still counting," the officer said. But one thing was clear. Lily's voice had opened the gate for justice. Because she spoke up, more families were now coming forward. And somewhere, that man, that predator, was running out of places to hide. A few weeks later, a teacher at Lily's school, Miss Julia, noticed something strange. She had gathered a group of students during break time when she overheard two girls whispering near the corner. "Don't say it out loud," one said. "But she said he gave her a lollipop too," the other replied nervously. Miss Julia froze. She walked closer and gently called them aside. "What did you just say?" she asked softly. The girls hesitated. One of them, a quiet girl named Betty, looked down and said, "We were talking about blessing. She told us her lesson teacher also gave her a salty lollipop, but he said not to tell anyone or he'll make her disappear." Miss Julia felt chills run down her spine. Was the teacher's name Mr. James? The girls nodded slowly. That very evening, the school invited parents to an emergency meeting. The principal, along with the police and social workers, explained the situation carefully and without mentioning too many disturbing details. They let parents know that anyone whose child had been in contact with Mr. James should speak to the school counselor or the police privately. What they did not expect was the number of parents who showed up. "He used to teach my niece last year," one father said. "He tutored my son in primary too, but I noticed my boy stopped smiling," another mother added, her voice trembling. One by one, the parents realized something painful. Many of them had missed the signs. Shame filled the room. But something else also happened that day. A new fire was lit. This time, they would not be silent. This time, they would protect their children. This time, they would fight back. A month after the truth broke out, Lily returned to school fully. Her counselor suggested something powerful. "Lily, would you like to speak to your class about courage?" "What if they laugh at me?" she asked. "They won't," her mother said, holding her hand. "You don't have to tell them everything. Just help them know it's okay to speak up." On the day of the school's safety talk, Lily stood in front of her classmates. She held a drawing in her hand. It was of a little girl holding a red whistle and standing in front of a shadow. She took a deep breath. "Sometimes people who smile at you are not good inside," she began. "If someone ever tells you to keep a secret that makes you scared, tell someone. Don't be afraid. Your voice is powerful." Her words were simple, but her classmates listened. Some cried quietly. Some teachers bowed their heads in shame. That day, she was no longer just a victim. She was a voice, a light, a protector. Late one evening, Lily's mother was in the kitchen preparing dinner when her phone rang. The caller ID read, "Inspector Mike." "Hello, Ma," came the calm voice on the other end. "We've traced Mr. James's phone location. He's been hiding in an uncompleted building at the edge of Aguda." Lily's mother dropped the knife she was holding. Her hands shook as she turned off the gas. "You mean, he's still in Lagos?" "Yes, Ma," said the inspector. "We believe he's been using a different name, but now we have evidence. We need your permission. Lily may need to come to the station to identify a few things." Lily's mother hesitated. "She's only a child," she said. "I understand," the inspector replied gently. "We'll be careful, but her help could stop him from hurting anyone else." That night, Lily's parents sat down with her. "Baby," her father said, "they found Mr. James. They might need your help, only if you're strong enough." Lily paused. Then, slowly, she nodded. "I want to help," she whispered. The next morning, Lily and her mother arrived at the police station. Inside, there was a quiet, cold room with one-way glass. Behind it stood 4 men, all slim, all wearing caps, all avoiding the light. Lily's heart pounded. The officer spoke calmly. "Look closely, Lily. You don't have to talk. Just nod if you recognize anyone." She took a deep breath. One by one, she looked at the men. Then, at the third man, her face froze. She didn't speak. She simply nodded. Her hands trembled slightly, but her eyes were strong. "That's him," she said in a voice steadier than anyone expected. The man had been caught hiding in the abandoned building, trying to leave the state. In his bag, they found candy wrappers, a red pen he used for marking books, and a notebook with a list of names. Some were children's names. Many had stars beside them. Lily's name had 2 stars. The officers knew then. This was no mistake. He had done this to others. Weeks later, the trial began. The courtroom was packed. Journalists stood outside the gates. Children's rights activists filled the gallery. And at the front of the court sat Lily, holding her mother's hand tightly. Lily didn't have to testify, but she sat in the gallery with her mother, watching silently. Her school had given her the day off. Even her class teacher, Miss Rose, was there to support her. Mr. James entered the courtroom, trying to look calm. He wore glasses and walked like nothing had happened. But when he saw Lily sitting in the back, his expression changed. For the first time, he looked a little afraid. The judge entered. "All rise," the clerk announced. The prosecutor laid out the case. Multiple children had given similar statements. Medical reports supported what Lily had said. Even his old phone had disturbing messages. And then, something unexpected happened. A young woman in the back stood up. She looked about 19. She walked to the front and said, "He was my home lesson teacher too. When I was 9, I was too scared to talk. But if this little girl can stand up today, so can I." The room fell silent. Then 2 more women stood up. "I thought I was the only one," one said in tears. "I was too ashamed," said the other. Mr. James's face went pale. The judge banged the gavel and said, "After reviewing all the evidence presented, including the brave testimonies of multiple victims, both recent and from years ago. This court finds Mr. James Wilson guilty of all charges. There was a hush. The air was thick with tension. The judge continued. You took advantage of children who trusted you. You betrayed the trust of parents. Your actions were cruel, manipulative, and damaging. This court sentences you to life imprisonment without parole. Gasps filled the room. Some cried in relief. Others clapped quietly. Mr. James's shoulders slumped. For the first time, he showed fear, not of being caught, but of being forgotten. He was let out in handcuffs. As Lily walked out, her mother hugged her tightly. You have changed the world for many children, Lily, she whispered. And Lily, though still a little girl, felt taller than ever before. The days after the trial were not magical or instantly perfect. Lily still had nightmares sometimes. She still woke up crying. But now, she wasn't alone. Her parents took turns picking her up from school. Her home became a place of laughter again. Her dad even stopped working on Sundays just to stay home and play Ludo with her. Most importantly, Lily started attending therapy. Her counselor, Auntie Anna, was soft-spoken and patient. Lily, she said during one session, you are not broken, you are brave. Lily looked at her. But sometimes I feel it's my fault. Auntie Anna gently shook her head. That's what bad people want children to feel. Like the bad thing is their fault. But it's not. It never was. That day, Lily cried for a long time. And it was the kind of cry that washed pain away. It was the first time she truly believed it wasn't her fault.